Hello everybody and happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is the Friday of a long weekend. I'm sure everyone is super excited about that. I know I am. The weather's supposed to be fantastic, so can't wait to get outside and enjoy this nice weather over this long weekend. So what are we doing today? We are going to be making, for our Fun Friday, we are going to be making apple cinnamon muffins. So thank you so much for joining me. My name is Michelle and I'm the Senior Recreation Coordinator in the Athletics and Recreation Department at Seneca. And every day at 3:30 we come to you live with fabulous ideas and programs. So today for Fun Friday, I'm going to be baking apple cinnamon muffins. So this is a great one for the long weekend. Typically on a long weekend we would likely go apple picking. I'm not sure that's going to happen this weekend. I know you have to pre-book times to go apple picking, so it's a little harder to go, but I like to go apple picking, get all my apples, and then make a recipe like this one. So apple cinnamon muffins, let's get started. So I've already started with the first three ingredients just because it takes a little bit of time to mix it. So I have in here half a cup of butter. It's not a healthy recipe, by the way, but it's really, really tasty. So I have a half a cup of butter, and I have a half a cup of brown sugar and a quarter of a cup of regular white sugar. So I've already creamed that together. I use my mixer. You can use a spoon, but it does take a bit of time either way. So I've used my mixer just to sort of get things rolling a little bit. I'm just going to take my spoon out. This is a great kitchen gadget as a side note. I call it a spoon holder. I'm not sure what it's for. When you're cooking, you just take your spoons and you put it on there, and then it doesn't get your counters messy. So that's a little tip of the day. Good kitchen gadgets. Then we're going to add in 1 egg. So I'm just going to mix this up using my mixer, so I hope it's not too loud. Again, you can do all of this with a spoon, but I typically use a mixer. It just makes it a little bit faster and speeds up the process and mixes it really, really well. Then I'm going to add in a cup of sour cream. That's what's going to make this muffin super, super moist. So 1 cup of sour cream right in there. Delicious. And then we have a teaspoon of vanilla. Tasty. Smells so good. And then again, I'm going back to my mixer, or you can use a spoon, and I'm going to mix that all up together. So sorry, watch the noise. So another reason why I really like this recipe is because it's one bowl. One bowl, everything goes in, it makes it really easy. I just take my spatula to wipe down the sides a little bit. Then I'm gonna add in all my dry ingredients. So once that's really nice and mixed, I'm gonna add in all my dry ingredients. So I'm gonna start with 2 cups of flour, right in there. And then 1 teaspoon each of baking soda and baking powder. And then I have a quarter of a teaspoon of kosher salt. Kosher salt is different than regular salt. It's coarser, so you want to just add a little bit of kosher salt in there. And of course your cinnamon, because that's what's making your apple cinnamon muffins. So 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, and then mix that together. Now I'm going to use my spoon to mix it. I'm not going to use my mixer anymore because I find anytime I add flour to anything and then I use my mixer, flour goes everywhere. So that's when I'm going to just take my spoon and mix it all together, just so I can really get all of those dry ingredients incorporated really, really well. But not, you never want to overmix when you're baking, but I don't want flour and all my dry ingredients everywhere. So I am just mixing that together. Then we're going to add our apples. So I'm just going to set that aside for a minute, and we're going to add our apples. So I have pre-cut some apples. So I use 2 large apples for this, and I mix 2 apples together. I use a Granny Smith apple because I really like a tart apple, and then I also use a Honey Crisp because that just adds a little sweetness as well. So all I'm going to do is just I've peeled my apple, and then I've cut it into small pieces, and I'm just cubing it and cutting it with a knife. I cut my apple really small because I don't want chunks in my muffins, but if you like a chunky apple or chunky bites in your muffin, you can keep them a little bit bigger. So it's really whatever you'd like. So again, I just cut up and diced a couple of apples. Sorry, I got a lot of dishes to do later. And then I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that into my mix. And then I'm just going to sort of fold it all over so that you mix all the apples into your mixture. It smells really, really good. So again, I'm just mixing it. That's what it looks like, all mixed together. I think it's pretty tasty. And then I'm taking my greased muffin tin. So I just sprayed it with a baking spray, or you can use muffin liners, really whatever you have and whatever is easiest. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill them about 3/4 of the way full. So I'm just going to scoop some of the mixture into my muffin tray about 3/4 of the way full. Once I'm done that, I'm going to show you how to make the topping. Now the topping is completely optional, but quite honestly, I think it's my favorite part. So definitely worth it. So you can make a topping to go over this, which will consist of 1/3 cup of brown sugar. And then I'm gonna add in 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. So I'm gonna just mix that together. Just stir it up. Like I said, this is optional. The topping's optional. You can just bake your muffins as is, or you can create this tasty, sugary cinnamon topping. So I'm just mixing it all up. And then what I'm gonna do when I'm done there is I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit. I'm gonna lift it up so you can see actually. So there's my muffins. They're a little thicker, but they bake really well. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of my topping and I'm just gonna sprinkle it on, just on over the top of the muffin. And again, like I said, this is optional. So if you wanna do this, great. If you don't wanna add this part, completely up to you. But this is a really nice, really tasty dessert for the Thanksgiving weekend. So however you're celebrating, hopefully in really small groups, this is a nice tasty treat. So there you go. Those are my apple cinnamon muffins. I'm gonna put them into my stove that I've preheated to 375. And like a little magic trick, bam, out they come. Beautiful muffin. So a nice apple cinnamon muffin, really tasty, very easy, one bowl, a great treat for this long weekend. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope everyone has a wonderful long weekend. Check back next week. It's our wellness week. We have so many fabulous activities planned, so I hope everyone gets an opportunity to join us for that. Head over to senecasting.ca to get all the information about our programs or any of our Instagrams, Seneca Newnham Rec, at Seneca King Rec, or at Seneca York Rec. Have a wonderful weekend. Be active, be healthy. Bye.